Hey tubers, welcome back for another adventure. And what we're going to talk about today is the elephant sitting in the back of my truck currently. This obviously is a Hammerhead 250. It came from a couple of buddies of mine, Richard Breyer, who has a YouTube channel, go check him out, and Stoney, who has Second Chance Mowers, so go check out their YouTube channels. Stoney and Richard and myself have been friends for a while. They were getting me a lot of the three-wheelers. They're not finding those anymore. It just turned out that Richard managed to get this, and you know, he decided he didn't want to deal with it, so he flipped it over to me. I gave him $250 for it. He managed to make a couple of pennies on the deal, so he was happy. For $250 to get more or less a complete Hammerhead. I'm happy, right? $1 a cc. So let's go through it quickly. You guys could see it's fairly crispy. I have not started it, attempted to start it, or do anything like that. The engine appears to be complete, right? You can see the radiator, the carburetor's on there, the air cleaner, obviously the muffler. You can see the independent rear suspension, the battery's there, everything's there. And I'm told the story he was given, because he did not get it running either, the story he was told is it ran, but it had a drive problem. So there you go. It has been sitting for a while. I haven't taken it off of here, obviously, so I haven't looked at the VIN, so I'm not quite sure what year it is. My guess, somewhere around an 05, plus or minus 5, but that's just a guess. I don't know any more than that. Maybe some of you guys who actually own these things could tell me more. I do. The seats are very crispy, but I do have the complete seats, so I can use the base to make templates. The covers, actually, even on the bases, aren't half bad, so if I really had to, I could just replace the flakeboard bases, the foam, and recycle the vinyl. So that gets me the seats. It is missing the top, you know, the roll cage. I would probably want to put that back on there, though. It does look better without it. And, you know, I really don't go too crazy with my stuff, so how necessary is it? The only cool thing about a roll cage is you can do other stuff with it. You could kind of put a roof on it, a soft roof. You can hang lights from it. You know, you can put a flashing light on top, fireman's light, you know, all those cool things with the roof rack. So that is something to consider. I already checked the toolbox. There are no tools in it. It does have these set of speakers. I don't know if they're alive or not. But more or less it's complete. I think it is complete, minus the roll cage. He was told, once again, it starts and it runs, but it doesn't move. It's got some kind of drive problem, and that could be literally anything, right? Beneath this cover is a clutch. Cover doesn't look like it was removed, right? Those bolts don't look like they were messed with. So, and what haunts this thing, right? It could be anything from the belt broke, which is a, I don't know, $20, $30 repair plus bringing it back from being crusty, to if the clutches are in bad shape or something like that, it very quickly goes into the hundreds and multiple hundreds and so forth. So I have two plans for this thing. First thing we're going to do is get it off there and figure out what kind of shape the engine's in. Can it be brought back to life in its current shape, right? We'll get the engine running and we'll see if it'll drive. Because if I can make it run and move in its current shape, I'd rather do that. Some may say, oh, that's just silly. Maybe, but I don't know. I'd rather keep it stock if that's the case. If I can't keep it stock, probably a bunch of you guys are going, Ninja engine, please put the Ninja engine in it. Well, And that was the second plan. It is no longer. When I found out I was buying it, I was saying, oh, that's cool. I'm going to do what Royal Racing Tech did. It's Royal Racing Tech, Royal Racing Tech. A little over a year ago, I went up to see him, and if you guys remember, he put a Ninja 250 engine in one of these, and he was working on putting a Ninja 500 in another one of these. By the way, go check him out. He does some real nice work, and I'm surprised he doesn't get more views because he does really, really good work. Anyway, I was thinking, you know, I'll smash a Ninja engine into it, and life will be great. The only problem is, after loading this thing and realizing that it weighs 700 pounds and it rolls like a brick, I mean a big brick, like a mafia block brick, I said to myself, you know, a Ninja motor, I don't have reverse with a Ninja motor. And I'm going to need reverse with this thing. You guys could see it's pretty wide. The front of it is 52 inches wide. So you guys will also know, going down a lot of trails, 52 inches is, you know, even on my trails, that's pretty wide. And I'm probably going to need reverse at some point. Well, Ninja doesn't give me reverse, right? It gives me go fast forward, but it doesn't give me reverse. And unless this engine's dead and I can figure out some way of hacking the Ninja motor in such that I get reverse, I don't think I could use the Ninja motor. This thing won't be very enjoyable to ride if every time I get it into a tight situation I gotta get off and wrestle the 700 pounds backwards, especially if you end up nose down into a tree type situation and you gotta kind of pull it off of that and get it loose and back up on a trail, right? It just won't be any fun. So the second engine that I do have available for this thing would be a Honda TRX200SX engine. And I did a golf cart conversion. A couple of real big pluses about putting the engine in there and one big minus. Let's start with the minus. The minus is pushing around 700 pounds plus me plus a passenger. That little 200cc motor is going to be working for a living. So before anybody says it, yeah, it's going to be a little bit wimpy. I mean, I could try to gear it down a little bit, turn this thing into a bit of a stump puller. I really don't go that fast anyway on my property, right? I try not to call too much attention to myself. So that is one possibility. The other good thing, well, a good thing about putting the TRX 200SX motor in here is I have plenty of space, which makes it easy. I don't have to deal with the liquid cooling anymore and all that trivia. I get to really open this up, right? The radiator gets out, all that stuff gets out. And the little bit of research I've done is there aren't a lot of these motors out there. So I think it would be interesting to get that motor off and see what else could be done with it. If the drive is blown out of it, perhaps one could shorten the case up and recycle the transmission part if the reverse is good, or recycle the motor part, perhaps put a pulley or torque converter on it, you know, hack the Predator torque converter, or not the Predator, the TAV30 torque converter on it. You know what I mean? Now it could become individual pieces that are a little more interesting. Fabbing with a liquid cooled motor is more work though, right? You got to think about the radiator, you got to think about fans, or you got to put it up front and move fast enough. In this case, I don't know if that's an auxiliary radiator up there or an oil cooler. Hoses look a little big for oil cooler, so my guess is it's a radiator, but I don't know, so don't quote me on that. I'm just looking at the ignition system here. I see a hole where the CDI should be. I don't see the CDI. So maybe this thing has a spark problem too. Doesn't much matter, we could get around that. Has a really cool exhaust system. If you guys do fabs, you know, getting your hands on an exhaust system, it's always good. You can alter it to go on something else. Anyway, what I'd love to hear from you guys is your thoughts on this project. It's a big guy. It really is an elephant, right? 52 inches wide. I think it's a full 6 foot long, maybe a little longer than 6 foot. The height doesn't matter much, but it 700 pounds. It's a monster. So there you go, the latest project. A few things about projects. Craigslist, Facebook, really not much on there, and whatever is on there is expensive. And it appears as if with this whole stay-at-home thing, a lot of people have gone into let me recycle parts business. So a lot of people are out buying these things for parts, and they seem to have time, so they're jumping on the deals really quick, and I really haven't been able to get anything. The last few deals I got, the Warrior, was from somebody I knew. It did go on Facebook, but I got it from somebody I knew. The Tao, once again, it was on Facebook, but it was also somebody I knew. And then this guy wasn't advertised, but it was from people I know. So I don't know, maybe I know everybody who deals in this junk business. But it is getting harder to find the deals. Hondas, they're just not out there. A junky Honda 200S stuff I used to pay, you know, $300-400, and I used to grit my teeth doing that. That stuff is suddenly out there in worse shape than I bought it for, you know, $500, $600, $800 running. I don't know. Stuff is crazy expensive by me, especially if it's halfway decent stuff. So, you know, I want to keep the channel going. I want to keep the projects coming in, and you know, you go out there and you find what you could find. And this is one of those things. I was able to help out a buddy. He was able to make some money. He helped me out because I think it's going to be a cool project. I'm not in it too deep. I think it'll be fun. Anyway, once again, I'd love to hear your opinions. I want to thank you all for watching and commenting and subscribing. Please remember, feet down, heads up, and get out there and enjoy each and every day. Bye now.